Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Thursday webinar series during lunch. We took a week off last week, but we're back with a vengeance today. And our guest is our acquisitions director and co-owner, Mr. Alex Sifakis. You there, Alex?
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? How about you, Osmond? You doing good?
We're doing good, bud.
Awesome.
The goal of the call really is to be very interactive. So on the GoToWebinar toolbar, please locate the questions section and feel free to inquire with anything that you want to know. Alex, has led a team that's bought and sold over 250 homes in the Jacksonville area in the last 5 years, and he's completely built himself out of the day-to-day components of a renovation business, and now focuses exclusively on buying homes for the company and for other investors. So he's extremely knowledgeable. He's got a lot of great stories that he's going to share with us and insights. So any questions that you have, if you're an investor out there looking for homes, or if you want to learn a little bit more about what he's looking for, feel free to shoot in a question, and we'll field them as they come. So let's have a little fun, Alex. You ready for a tone setter, if you will?
Let's do it.
All right, pal. Why don't you? I know you've got just a plethora of stories to share with the crowd. Why don't you pick one of the great ones and kind of lighten the mood?
I got a good one just from recently, actually. And this is not a story of mine. It's a story of one of our ex-interns. As Osmond said, I'm the acquisitions director of the program, so I'm the one who goes out, checks out all these REO properties, does repair estimates, makes offers, and puts them under contract. And we have some other team members that work under us doing their own repair estimates and finding us deals as well. And one of them went into a house the other day. It was, these houses a lot of them are boarded up. They've been sitting vacant for a long time. And he's walking, he gets in this house and he's walking through it, and it smells really, really bad. And he's like, man, that is the worst smell I've ever smelled. And he's looking around the house, and the house is real beat up. And he's just trying to figure out what this horrible smell is. And he walks into the bathroom, dead body.
Wow.
There was a dead human in the bathroom.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and this has never happened to me before, but it's happened here in Jacksonville, Florida. And so he freaked out. He called the cops. They came by. Eventually what they determined was it was a vagrant who had been living in the house. And I encounter this all the time going through vacant houses where basically, homeless people have broken in and they're living inside these houses. And this person has just died. They'd probably been there about 2 weeks. And he got, it was a scarring experience for him, but he did get some free publicity. He got on the news. The news came by and interviewed him to have him talk about his experience walking into a house and finding a dead body. So that's just my most recent and gruesome horror story from out on the road checking out these properties day after day.
And he was headline news, was he not?
Yeah, he got on the 6 o'clock news. That's
unbelievable. The lead story on the news: walk into a house looking to buy it and find unfortunately someone who's passed away. That's wild and crazy, no question. Well, Alex, obviously you've been in the game for about 5 years. You've seen the peaks and valleys of the market. Can you kind of walk us through exactly the progression of acquisitions in relation to your business over the past 5 years? I'm sure the dynamic and the focus has changed just drastically from 5 years ago. Where did you start? How have you evolved, and kind of what is your primary focus now?
Yeah, as everyone on the call knows, the real estate market has changed drastically over the past 5 or 6 years. And when we got into the market back in '05, it was red hot. It was so easy to sell a house, but finding them was really hard. So we actually, back in the day, '05, '06, '07, we were spending about $10,000 a month on marketing that we put out there to get motivated sellers to call us, people who were in foreclosure, people who were in probate, divorces, people who own their house free and clear. So we'd send out a lot of marketing to get them to call us so that we could buy houses and get a good deal on them. Nowadays, the best motivated seller out there is a bank who's foreclosed on a property. So what we're doing is we're developing relationships with real estate agents who list bank-owned property, and what it's called is an REO. REO stands for real estate owned, and that just depicts a property that has gone through the foreclosure process. So somebody stopped making their payments, the bank filed a foreclosure, the bank takes the house back, and now the bank is the owner of the property. Well, the bank has to sell that property so they get money back in their business, and they're very motivated sellers. So the bank puts these properties on the market, and they list them with real estate agents. And just like anything else, 10% of the people are doing 90% of the business. So what I've done over the past 2.5 years is develop very, very strong relationships with these REO agents, so they know that I'm out there buying houses. They know I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and they like selling to me because of that, and because I give them both sides of the commission, which is the key thing. If you're trying to buy REOs, you want to give the agents both sides of the commission. But because of this, they come to me when they have good deals, so I get the good deals before the rest of the market does. And that's huge when you're buying properties in today's market, is building these relationships.
So now it's exclusively REOs. There's no more seller marketing, and really what used to be the seller marketing focus is now just relationship building with the REO agents. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You gotta buy properties from them, and once you start buying properties, they know who you are, and they know you do what you say you're going to do, and then you develop that relationship with them. Show them that you perform, that you can get them what they want. And that's something that we've been very good at over the past 2.5 years.
Absolutely. So now walk the audience through a day in the life, and how you determine what properties you go take a look at, how you submit your offers. How many properties do you look at in your search? How do you go about just kind of your daily order of business?
Well, what I do when I'm going to check out properties is I pull a list off the MLS of all the bank-owned properties in a certain area listed below a certain price, and I'll come up with a list of, let's say, 150 properties. And now I have to sort through those to figure out which are the good deals and which ones I want to go look at. Now, for most people, it would take an extremely long time to do this, because you have to go through and literally figure out exactly what every property is worth, and then what it's listed for, and then go see the ones that have the biggest spreads. Because I've been doing this for so long, I can look at a house and I know, based by the square footage and what area it's in, exactly what it's worth. And so then I run that list and figure out which ones I want to go look at, pick out 20 or 30 properties, and I go check them out. Our goal is to submit about 20 or 30 offers a week. So something that would take most people a lot more time, I can do pretty quickly, and find the good deals, get out there, and get these offers submitted. After I go check out the property, when I submit an offer, I will basically just send an email, a letter of intent, to the REO agent. Because I am a real estate agent, I can give the listing agent both sides of the commission and have them represent me. So I just send a letter of intent with a proof of funds. And a proof of funds is a bank statement showing that you have the money to close on the property. So if you're buying a property for 80 grand, you need to show your bank account has more than 80 grand in it. So I send them a copy of the bank account and the offer itself, and have them submit it. If I wasn't a real estate agent, what I would have to do is find another real estate agent to submit the offer for me, and they would have to do a full contract and submit everything, and that takes a lot more time. Plus, you're not giving both sides of the commission to the listing agent, so they're not going to be as motivated to work with you, because you're paying them half as much.
And how many properties, you might have said it, Alex, but just repeat it for everybody, how many properties show up on your search that you run each and every day?
Depending on what area I'm searching and what specifically I'm looking for that day, somewhere between 80 and 150.
Okay, 80 and 150 depending on how much inventory is out there and the criteria of the search?
Yep, and that's how many properties I have to sift through to figure out which ones I want to go look at. So you can imagine, if you weren't able to tell very quickly what each property was worth, how much time it would take to run comps on all those properties to figure out which deals were the best deals.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the specific criteria that you're looking for when you're out there buying these homes for the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program, specifically location, traits, characteristics. What are some of the things that you put in your search criteria?
The first thing is area, of course, because you don't want to own a house in a war zone. We only buy in good blue-collar working-class neighborhoods, and this is important because, one, you're going to get more rent, and two, you're just going to have a lot less headaches. When you're in a better quality area, you have a better quality of tenant, which makes your maintenance go down, it makes your turnover go down, and you make more money overall. So we only focus on good blue-collar neighborhoods, no war zones. And the areas in Jacksonville that are great for that are areas of the west side, the south side, and Arlington are the three areas that we focus on for our Jacksonville Wealth Builders program. There's certain areas of the north side that are good in Jacksonville too. A lot of the north side is pretty scary, but there's areas that are good as well, and we'll buy in those areas. But you have to know what you're doing when you're looking up in the north side.
So what are some of we've got the map up for the audience to take a look at. What are some of the hotbed zip codes that you're searching for when you're looking for a Jacksonville Wealth Builders property for one of our investors?
For a Jacksonville Wealth Builders property, 05, as you can see, which is if you're looking at the map right now, the white squiggly line running through the middle that kind of takes a right-hand turn, that's the St. Johns River. And right below the middle of the map, the St. Johns River gets pretty thick. It's a huge river. And to the left of that, you see 32205, 32210, and 32244. And that's the west side of Jacksonville. That's an area we buy a lot of houses in. Awesome area, great blue-collar neighborhood, working class. And then on the other side of the river right across, you see 32207, 32217, and 32216. That's the south side. There's also that same thing, great blue-collar area. The south side has been growing a lot recently with the St. John's Town Center, which is in 32246. It's a huge destination shopping place where they have Apple and Gucci and Prada, all these high-end stores where it's become a destination shopping center. People are coming from all over to go there. So a lot of great things happening on the south side. And then also Arlington, which is just above the south side. You see 32211 and 32277. That's also another great area where we buy for our Jacksonville Wealth Builders program.
Okay. All right. And one of the major criteria that you're looking for is rentability. Obviously, we're trying to rent them out quick, and we're renting them out for top dollar for our investors with them in mind. Typically the areas that Alex suggested and called attention to are areas where for a 4-bedroom, house with a little bit more than probably 12 to 1,500 square foot, we were renting those houses out for $1,050 and sometimes even up to $1,100, which is just adds to the cash flow for our investors.
Yep. 4 bedrooms are great. We'll always focus on looking for 4 bedrooms because we've been extremely successful in renting those out quickly. I think the last 8 or 10 properties that have actually been rented out before the renovations were even finished because of our property management team is fantastic. They've been doing an amazing job getting these properties rented out. It's pretty hard to rent a property out before the renovations are finished, but we've been doing it very consistently.
Actually, the last one we rented out, the 4-bedroom, was rented out before the renovation even began. So
yeah.
that takes some vision for the tenant. Well, Alex, let's talk about time because obviously it's great in conversation to talk about doing 30 to 40 repair estimates, submitting that many offers each and every week, and really dedicating a good portion of your life to acquiring properties for other investors and for the business. How much time do you spend doing all of this each and every week? And obviously you move much quicker through a house than most, but how long does each house and each stop take you typically on your search and on your estimates?
It takes me about a half hour per house. So if I'm looking at 20 houses, that's about 10 hours, 10 to 15 hours, a half hour to a little bit longer to do that. When I started, it was taking me an hour and a half to 2 hours to do a full repair estimate and check out a house. So I've cut my time down, by probably
tremendously
to 25% of what it was when I started. So yeah, about a half hour for me to go out, look at a house, do a repair estimate.
Okay, and that doesn't factor in driving time or prep time or any of that stuff, correct?
Right, it doesn't factor in prep time. It'll factor in driving time.
Okay.
So
okay.
Before that doesn't factor in having to run the list and seeing which ones I want to go figure out and printing out all the sheets and getting the lockbox codes, figuring out which properties have been sold already. That kind of thing. That's not counted in that.
Okay. And I know you obviously track quite a bit of your offers and your repair estimates. How many offers typically does it take for you to get one accepted by the seller on average?
For us, you can really see the strength and the relationships that we're building with these REO agents, because right now about 1 in every 10 offers I make is getting accepted, which is extremely high. Back when we started, it was about 1 in every 30, 1 in every 25. So we've been able to develop these relationships and get a lot more of our offers accepted. So for us right now, about 1 in every 10 gets accepted.
Okay, fantastic. And walk the audience through your follow-up system. I know that that's another area where you've been able to really distinguish yourself as a buyer with the REO agents.
Yep. What we do is every time I go out and I make a repair estimate on a property, I save that repair estimate and I enter it into our database. So, and I set to follow up with it. Because a lot of times, and this happens over and over again, it's so funny, where a bank will reject my first offer of $40,000, and then 4 months later, they'll accept an offer of $30,000. That's right. I dropped my offer 10 grand, and the bank accepted it.
And you
wonder why these banks are having problems right now, right? Why they're going out of business. But this happens over and over again, and we get a lot of our offers accepted because of our awesome follow-up system. And basically, like I said, I'll enter the information into our database, and then I'll set it to follow up. And so I'll resubmit that offer every 3 weeks, every month, depending on the agent and the property itself. And after a while, these offers will start coming through and getting accepted. And it takes a lot of time to do that follow-up, but it's very, very effective at finding those properties that sit on the market for a long time, so the bank becomes even more motivated to sell them.
Okay, Alex, we've got a little bit of a doubter. One of our attendees on the webinar asked specifically, the 30 minutes includes driving time. Does it include you crawling into the crawl space on a off-grade house and hopping up on a roof and popping out drywall, checking if there's termite damage, or is that just kind of a quick walkthrough and hope for the best? How detailed are you?
It includes all of that, and the thing
really?
is, I don't have to. It includes all that, but the thing is, I don't have to do that on a lot of houses. On the properties where I do need to crawl under, because you can see there's some foundation issues, I crawl under there. I got a crawl suit in the back of my trunk, and I also have a little kit that I keep with me. It's actually a poop kit. And my poop kit consists of Q-tips, paper towels, alcohol wipes, because I'm telling you, when you are crawling under a lot of houses, you step and crawl in a lot of poop. So I have a poop kit in my car for when that happens. So trust me, I crawl under houses. I have a ladder in the back of my car. It folds up, unfold it, climb up on roofs. I always climb up on the roofs of houses. But a lot of times these properties, it only take me, because I've been doing this so long, I know what I'm looking for. I know what keys I'm looking for in order to do a detailed repair estimate. So a house that doesn't have a crawl space I have to crawl under and doesn't have a lot of scary stuff where I have to sit there for a long time, I can run through and do the repair estimate on the house in 5 minutes, 7 minutes. A house that has a lot of structural issues, I might spend 45 minutes of that house, but on average it takes me a half hour, including drive time, to check out these properties.
It's pretty impressive. Well, it's good to hear that you're doing a thorough job. We've got another question from one of the attendees. What, on average, what would you say the renovation cost is, both the repair estimate and then actual job bid out and kind of for each of the Jacksonville Wealth Builders properties on average?
Our average repair cost estimate on the Jacksonville Wealth Builders properties is about $29,000.
Okay.
And our actual comes in at about 32, 33. So I'm a little. We're running about 10% over on repair estimates, which is actually something that we're working to correct. But 10%, 5 to 10% on the repair estimate is about average what you're looking at.
Okay.
Over on those.
So to the attendee who inquired, it's typically between about $29,000 and $33,000 is our average rehab cost, and we're one of the companies you'd say, and I know Alex certainly agrees with this, that welcomes a larger project as opposed to some of the smaller projects. Our rehabs are not just paint and carpet and call it a day, as Alex alluded to. We're doing foundation, we're doing roofs, we're doing AC units. We're making sure all the large cost items are repaired for our investors.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the houses that we put 30 grand into, you could do for 20 grand or 18 grand if you wanted to, but one of the things that we always do is we are putting a bang-up product out there for our investors. So we're, if the roof needs to be done, we're always doing it. AC, plumbing, electric, those big ticket items that will cost you a lot of money. If we don't do them, we do them to give our investors a great product that is going to make them money and they're going to be happy with. So,
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Alex, give us kind of an example. Walk us through a case study of a Jacksonville Wealth Builder property that you've called recently or that you've purchased recently, and and kind of just the numbers of the deal, if you will.
There's one that we just sold to an investor out of New York. It was actually a second property on Ledbury. Do you remember? What were the digits on Ledbury?
Ledbury, it was 6531 Ledbury was a specific address.
Good memory.
Yes, sir.
So on Ledbury, we bought that house for about $25,000. This house was a huge renovation. We actually spent $47,000 on the renovation. It had some structural issues on the back where we had to actually lift the foundation. It was a slab house, and we had to hire a company who's licensed and insured to do this kind of work. They actually drill foundation piers down into the ground and then put a hydraulic jack under the house and jack it back up. And it comes with a 75-year warranty, so that house isn't going anywhere now. But that was some extra work we had to do in that house. We had to demo a pool and a big outbuilding, and then totally redo, roof, plumbing, electric, AC. So we spent $47,000 on that house.
Wow.
In renovation costs. Yeah, that was a big job. But we have, we're doing 8 to 12 renovations a month now, and we have crews who can handle this stuff and knock it out. That renovation, doing all that stuff, took just over 4 weeks. So we enclosed a carport on that one too to get a 4th bedroom, which is a big key. We're always trying to get that 4th bedroom to make the rent higher for our investors. That house, we sold the house for $85,000 to that investor out of New York, and that house rented out for $1,100, and the cash flow was right about $400, right, on that one?
Right about $400. We'll find out specifically once the interest rate lock is done. But it should be a little over $400, all said and done.
$400 in cash flow for, the investor really didn't do any work. And we do all the heavy lifting.
And a good point to call attention to that Alex just kind of described on that deal on Ledbury is a lot of times what we've found is a lot of our investors are former active investors. They're investors who used to manage renovations, but now they value their time and they don't want to have to spend all of that out-of-pocket cash. And just to give you kind of a breakdown of that deal on Ledbury, we bought it for, what was the purchase price, Alex?
$25,000.
Okay, we bought it for $25,000. We put $47,000 into it, so it's about $72,000 right there, not including holding costs or anything of that nature, insurance, utilities, all of that good stuff that go automatically with holding property. And so an investor could do that and be into the house for $72,000 plus, all cash, because a bank would not lend to them on that property because it was clearly distressed. It had foundation issues, a condemned pool, all sorts of good stuff. Or the other option is within the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program, and this is one of the truly hidden benefits of the program, is that you could get into it at 20% down and leverage your time, leverage your funds, and get into a loan less than 6% right now, about 5.5% is the average interest rate, and you'd be into the home for about $22,000 and be cash flowing still. So it's a wonderful option to consider, is the fact that you could get into it for $72,000 plus holding costs, or $22,000 all in, which is 20% down plus your closing costs, which is usually about $4,000 to $5,000 on a loan. So, and the X factor is, we find this out from all of our investors all the time, but how much do you value your time ownership? So Alex just described the length of time he has to put in to be able to provide these properties to our investors. Our investors, obviously don't have the time anymore, and particularly some of the past active investors. So just wanted to call attention to that. It's a great depiction of one of the hidden values. We've got one last question here for you, Alex, that came in from one of our, it looks like he's a seller and he's looking to sell you some homes, pal. He wants to know what percent LTV of the ARV will you be willing to buy homes from him if he found for you? And can you kind of describe what LTV and ARV stand for?
Yeah, for everyone else out there, ARV just stands for after repaired value. So it's what you're going to sell the house for.
Okay.
When it's done, when it's fixed up. And LTV stands for loan to value, so that's the percentage of the ARV that you're willing to spend. So for instance, if the ARV was $100,000 and you wanted to buy it at 25% LTV, then you would pay $25,000 for the house. And the thing is, the question becomes, it's before repairs or after repairs. we're buying most of these properties that are worth 100 to 105. We're buying for between $20,000 and $35,000. So 20 to 35% LTV is about what we're paying, and that's obviously that's not including repairs. After repair, we pay about 60 to 65% LTV. So we're looking to be into these properties for about $65,000, maybe even $70,000 after the repairs are done to them. So, like for instance, that property on Ledbury, there was a lot of repairs, so I could only pay $25,000 for it. If there was 35 in repair instead of 47 in repair, then I could have paid more for it. Just to give you some specifics on the buying criteria.
And the goal is to be able to get into the house for 65% or less so that we can pass along the profit and the equity to our end investor. You know, it's a buyer's market. We certainly don't want our investors paying retail value in this market. So if the house is worth 100, we don't want the investor paying much more than, 85 on an average deal, so that they walk into it with some equity.
Exactly. We always, all through our process, and we develop a relationship with the REO agents, so we're able to buy properties cheaper for everyone else. And we do 10 to 12 renovations a month, so we're able to get our contractors' pricing down very low, so we can renovate them cheaper than everyone else. And we're renting them out for more and faster than anyone else because of our property management company. And throughout all this process, we're saving money, and we're able to pass all that savings along to our investors, so our investors are making money. And that's, we're always trying to share our profit with our investors so that they're happy and they're making a lot of money.
Absolutely. And Alex, as we kind of close, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about our wealth building tours that we hold every month here in Jacksonville, and we're actually taking the show on the road for the first time here in April in California, and give them kind of an idea of what they could expect if they were to attend one of these events.
Well, these wealth building tours are just an amazing chance for people to get an in-depth look into every facet of our business. These Thursday webinars are awesome, and I hope we're giving you guys a lot of information. But basically, the wealth building tour is this Thursday webinar on every single facet of our business. So we bring people in. It's a one-day event. We show them why Jacksonville is the best place in the country to be investing in real estate right now, and we show you why that is. And we'll go through every stage of the business, from acquisitions to rehab to property management to financing to, when you actually closing on your property. We go through all those steps, and then we'll actually show you deals, and the ones in Jacksonville will bring you out to the houses so you can see the neighborhoods, you can walk through the houses, see how we do our renovations, you see them in all stages. So we'll go to ones before they're fixed up, in the middle of renovation, and after they're fixed up. So you get a great vision over everything that we're doing, and it helps people out so much coming to these events and seeing what's actually going on. And it's a great time for networking and to meet like-minded people who are trying to achieve their financial and time ownership goals. These events, everyone leaves the room with such a positive vibe that I love doing these events, and everyone who we've had come to them, I can't say enough about how beneficial and how much they enjoyed the event. So I greatly recommend that if you are interested in these events, in this process, then you come to one of these events and check it out.
Fantastic. And we've got two events in back-to-back weekends coming up. As I alluded to, on the April the 30th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We're taking the staff out west and hosting about 50 investors at the Hyatt Regency Irvine out west, and chatting a little bit about our process. And then, of course, our next Jacksonville event here in Florida is Saturday, May 7th. It'll be about 9 to 4. We'll hold it at the Progress Home Buyers Jacksonville Wealth Builders office in Jacksonville. So if you have interest, check out the website below, or feel free to give us a call at the office at 904-677-6777. Alex, do you want to leave the audience with one acquisitions tip that you may have learned the hard way that you've streamlined in the past couple of years?
I mean, there's so many things I've learned the hard way. I think that this is the main tip that I've learned as far as acquisitions and just about everything. If you can make people more money and make things easier on them and save them time, they will want to work with you. And this is what we've done with our REO agents. We make them more money because we give them both sides of the commission, and we save them time. We make everything easy on them. We do what we say we're going to do. And so they want to work with us. And it's been the same thing with this Jacksonville Wealth Builders program, where we are making our investors money, a lot of money, and we are making it so easy on them and saving them so much time. That's why we've seen such amazing growth in our program over the last couple months or year. And I just want to leave it with, if you guys have any interest in this, make sure you go ahead, click that link right there, wealthbuildingtour.com. It's in blue. Click that link, go sign up for an event, check it out. I promise you, you will not be disappointed in what you see with us.
Well, we appreciate your time, Alex. Thank you to all of the audience for another fantastic interactive webinar. Always enjoy it, and check back next week. We will have another one, 12:30 Eastern, same time, same station, and we look forward to chatting with you a little bit more. So thank you, and take care. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Osmond. Thanks, listeners. Catch you guys later.